Guys, when I tell you I'm dealing with the repercussions of my actions, I am very much so. Very, very much so. It's only Monday, right? And I feel like I've already been through it all. So I just had to order a new bra, which that's a whole story. I'm thinking I need to do a video on that because guys, the amount of money I've spent in the past couple of years on bras alone is something that needs to be studied, to be honest, because there's no way. Right, but on a happier note, I am here at home. I've also just spent money on a lot of new products that I wanted to try, and so I'm like, well, you know, I have this free break. I don't have a lot of time. I really have until about 1:45. It's now 1:45, so I have an hour. Yeah, I only have an hour, and so I'm going to see if I can get through all of this as quickly as possible. I don't think it'll take me an hour, but it is a first impressions of everything, so I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit easy. I'm realizing that I don't have everything out, so I need to go and get the rest of the stuff because all of this was bought, but I do have something else that I already have in my collection that I need to add to this pile as well. So if you just bear with me for 2 seconds, I've got it. So if you don't know, if you haven't been watching, I am Janelle. No, that's not it. I am a huge elf fan. I love elf so much. They are one of my favorite drugstore brands, if not my favorite drugstore brand. And so today I was like, well, let's do a whole full face of elf makeup. And again, I feel like the camera is tilted and I know it's not, but it feels like it is. But there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just gonna ignore it, right? One of the things I wanted to grab was my tried and true power grip. I do have a new one, don't worry, this is almost done, but I already have a refill that I purchased for my full face drugstore, which drama, that was drama. But I do have this. I also have the liquid poreless putty. They're all in the box, so apart from this, everything is still in its packaging, right? So we're gonna be taking out the packaging to use it. So I do have this one, but I'm not sure with the foundation I'm choosing to use if I can use both this, if I should use this or this. So I'm going to do one on one side and I'm going to do one on the other side, right? And if we'll see which one works, because I don't know if either of these will work. If they do, great. If they don't, breathe. You know, that's all you're gonna do, breathe. So let's just jump right into it. One thing I can say is that elf is a very consistent drugstore brand, and I say that in the sense that, you know, I didn't take my rings off. I'm like, why am I doing my makeup with my rings on? It's just gonna get everywhere. It's not gonna come off. It's coming off. Struggles, first world problems. Yeah, this is not coming off. I don't know. Yeah, I might just have to keep that one on. But one thing I can say is that elf is a very consistent brand, right? I'm just gonna put it to one side, see if that works. Need to drag it right into the middle and then drag it down. So if you don't know, elf has been around for, in my opinion, forever. Like, I've always known about elf. They're not a brand. I can't mess my clothes up. I literally have to leave in a few hours. Normally I'm okay if my makeup gets on my clothes and messes it up, but I can't this time. And so I'm really hoping that this review goes well, because I genuinely have to go somewhere and meet people, right? And so going somewhere with a face of not good makeup is not a good idea. It's not a good look. First impressions, even though it's not really a first impressions. I know these people quite well. So clearly. Oh, we're all on pretty good terms. So I was saying, elf has been around for what seems like forever, right? They are a very consistent brand. Obviously they're a drugstore brand, so I know I've seen a lot of people talk about, why isn't elf How dare you fall? Like, right, I can't even see you. It's black and my floor is black. Never mind. I'm just gonna use my hand. How dare, yeah, they're like a very consistent brand. I'm like, people, I've seen people talk about why they don't do certain things like with their packaging and stuff like that, and I'm like, people seem to forget, not because they make really good product, they are a drugstore brand, so their quality in terms of packaging is going to be far less superior than their indie or luxury counterparts, right? And we need to remember that. Oh my gosh, damn. Oh my god, that felt like silk. I get it. So I've always wondered why people are so obsessed with this primer. Obviously I've never used it before, this is my first time, but oh my gosh. That is one of the nicest primers I've ever applied, and I've applied quite a lot in my lifetime, so I have a good idea as to what I'm looking for. This is really, really nice. Like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it. Obviously you can see like one is a very like smoothing primer, so my face is a little gray on this side and we're bright on this side. This is a very tacky primer, like you can see it's a very bouncy, while this one is more of like a smoothness to it. If I had to give my thoughts on which one I prefer so far, we all know that this is my tried and true. Like, I love this primer to death. I will not get rid of it, but I cannot mess up my clothes. But this is a really good second. It is quite nice. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. I don't know. So very pleased, by the way. This is starting off so much better than my full face of drugstore already, because the first new products I've tried has not disappointed me. Maybelline, I am looking at you, and I will continue to shit on Maybelline until they do something I'm pleased about, and that's yet to happen. And that's yet to happen. The only things I can say consistently I will buy from Maybelline are their mascaras. The Sky High mascara is my hands down tried and true favorite, especially for, and I'm talking about this in regards to drugstore and luxury, because I've tried both drugstore and luxury. And my best friend as well, her lashes don't stay up, tangent, but her lashes don't stay up as well, and she says the only other mascara that she's tried that she's loved apart from the Sky High is Charlotte Tilbury. So, you know, kudos to Charlotte Tilbury as well for doing that. I don't tend to have that issue. My lashes, I'm just my lashes are naturally up, so I don't have the problem. My foundation for today is the e.l.f. Halo Glow. It's not actual foundation, so, you know, we need to put that as a first whatever. This isn't actually a foundation, right? It is a liquid tint, and so it's kind of meant to go under your foundation, not as a full base product in and of itself. And so I don't know if this is gonna do well or if it's not gonna do well, if it's gonna give any coverage. I'm not really expecting coverage from this product, mostly because I know that it's not meant to give that. So if I were, it would have been a very different story. Oh no. So I was saying, first thing I was talking about with these products was their packaging, and obviously drugstore packaging tends to be of less quality than your indie brands or your luxury brands. And the first thing I've noticed is that this is already leaking out. So you can see that I'm pulling this up and it's kind of pulling on the stopper, which isn't a good idea for any product, because if you put this down in certain directions, it is gonna leak, and you don't want that. Another thing that I don't like, the sound, for one, it's very nasty sounding, and also the application of it, because I have to put this on my skin, which it's just me using it, so that's not really an issue. However, I don't appreciate the fact that I have to be dipping every application, right? So I can't even say that it holds a lot of products in the doe foot, because it doesn't. It's very much just, oh yeah, you know, you just dip it in and then you have to go and get more product, because it does not give you that much product in it, right? So my face is covered, and I'm gonna grab my brush and I'm gonna blend, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. So I know I said in the beginning of the video that I previously, that I wasn't actually expecting coverage from this product, and I mean, I wasn't, but it does a really good job at giving coverage. It's quite like, none of my blemishes can be seen through the foundation. Granted, I am very shiny. If I have a downside to this foundation, it's very shiny, right? And I get that it's not actually a foundation. It's the dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, I think, that one. But I don't like it. And I don't like the formula. It's a very light product. I cannot tell you. If I didn't see my face and I was going over my day, I wouldn't think that I had product on, right? Apart from the glossiness of the product, it does not remind me of product. It sits very nicely on the skin. It doesn't need a lot to blend in as well, which is a plus for me. And I overall love the coverage that it gives. It gives a very, I want to say natural, apart from the shininess, it is quite a natural finish for a product. Would I change the finish of this product? 100%. However, I don't know if maybe I need to use less next time. I am going to play around with this a little bit to see what I think. But apart from the glowiness to it, it's a really good product otherwise. So apart from my previous thingies about the applicator and the dispenser, all of that, it is otherwise a really good product. And if you're looking for, it is £15, and so for a drugstore product, I think that's on par with a lot of the prices for drugstore products at the moment. But I think if you're looking for something that is easy to play around with, this is a really good option for you, especially if you don't know what you're looking towards. I don't know, they have like others. I wanted to try their other foundation, but they didn't have it in my shade in the store, and so I was like, has to be do. And I'm very happy that I went with this one. I'm gonna see if I can get the camo foundations instead, to see my thoughts on this versus those two. But otherwise from that, this is a I am highly impressed with the overall product in and of itself. Those are the things I would change, what I did say earlier, and the glowiness. I would change all of that. But I wear this underneath foundation. No, because I don't tend to like heaviness in my makeup. I'm very much a non-heavy person, so I wouldn't want to wear it outside my phone as a secondary product to foundation, even if it's just to give glow. Would I wear this again? Yes, 100%. But I would wear less, probably, and I would probably have to add a setting powder. I was gonna buy a setting powder, and I was like, oh no, I want to see, because it's supposed to be like a nice and glowy. I thought it was like a natural glow. I didn't know it was like shine, dewy face. But I mean, we'll see how it looks at the end. Speaking of, next we're gonna talk about the concealer. So this is the hydrating camo concealer. I don't have the other one, I think the original one. This is the hydrating one. I know that people have qualms about the other one. I think this is the newer version of it. I think it's a reformulated hydrated version. And so I think this is a dupe for the new Fenty hydrating concealer. I don't know if this came over first or the Fenty one came over first, but I do think they are kind of dupes of each other. I know people have this kind of the same thoughts on the Fenty one that they do on the original camo concealer, so I'm kind of assuming that application product wise they are very similar. This seems to have a better stopper than the Halo Glow, so right away from that I can say thumbs up. This obviously is a concealer, so you're using a little bit less. it is a very heavy product, and not heavy as in it's a lot. I mean more so it's, you get a lot from just like that. That was one dope application, and I got a lot of product from it. So I'm looking forward to whatever that brings in terms of blending out and all of that. I'm looking for my concealer brush. All my brushes are just piled on top of one another at the moment, so I can't really tell you where anything is. So I'm gonna blend this out and I'll let you know. But I want to try and blend out at least one side on camera if I can find my concealer brush. I'm gonna use this concealer brush because it is a square brush, and I want to see if it makes a difference. Ooh, okay, it makes a difference. I don't know if it's the brush. I do think it is the brush, so I might change the brush. I'm just gonna change to my normal concealer brush from Real Techniques, because this is more like that, so it's a little bit easier to blend. You just tap it in like you would a normal concealer brush. Unfortunately, I am having a chemical burn. It feels like a chemical burn under my eye. And so right now, I'm gonna see if this product helps or aggravates that. I'm hoping it doesn't, because then I won't be able to see tomorrow. That, along with the fact that it's spring and it's pollen season, and you know, all bad things at the moment for life. I know people whose favorite season is spring, and it's a pretty good season. It's just not for me because I have allergies. First thing I can say, this blends out amazingly. It's not patchy, which you know my thoughts on patchy. It's not at all, and it is a lightweight looking concealer, and it is a lightweight feeling. It does not feel heavy on my eyes. I know that I'm wearing product, but it's not heavy, right? Because I can feel the product. So I'm just gonna just do that. So you can see that. So you can see the difference in the way my face looks at the moment, and you can see that it is a more seamless. I don't know if it's because I'm using the same brand, but it is a little more seamless. Here's how I think you're a good product. If you can work with brands other than the one that you are made to go with. So if I can wear this with like my regular NARS foundation, or if I can wear this with any other foundation, then I think it's a really good brand, a really good product formulation. Right now, obviously, I'm wearing it with only an elf product, so it's supposed to work seamlessly. This is what Maybelline was supposed to do. Okay, this is what I was looking for with Maybelline. Okay, this is really nice, and the glowiness of the product accentuates the concealer. It doesn't take away from it, and the concealer doesn't, you know, drag or anything. It's just really nice. So I'm just gonna do my other side and we'll see. So that is me done both sides, and like I said, it's so good. Okay, I was very worried because the Maybelline fiasco. I was constantly, every single time I do especially if it's a drugstore review of products, I'm going to drag Maybelline into this, because I cannot understand how a brand that is as huge and as long-standing as they could do such terrible things, right? So you're quick. So I'm gonna bring it up off them, but in comparison to that, obviously because I'm dealing with another drugstore brand, so my thoughts are gonna be similar, or definitely gonna, you know, compare the two. Obviously, no any further, I'm gonna compare it to this because this is the best I've had so far. I haven't really been using drugstore makeup in a while. I haven't used drugstore makeup in a while, so this is me revisiting a lot of it. And so right now, it's really nice. The more I look at it, the more it sits, the more it just seamlessly blends. You cannot tell me that I don't look adorable, because I do. I know I do. And you cannot break my shine. Not on Elon Musk's internet, as my friends say, right? But Obviously I was doing a comparison to see which side is sitting better, and I can say so far, obviously it hasn't been that long, but I can say so far they're both sitting really well. So you can't even tell that I've used two different bases, or can you? I don't know, let me know. But I think they're both sitting really, really well on my skin, and I'm hoping that as the time goes on, they're just gonna get better and better. We'll see though. Next, we're gonna talk about blush. I have two blushes because I couldn't decide. So I have the pink and I have the coral. Well, pink and coral. I am a kind of a coral girly. However, I'm wearing a neutral or a cooler toned shirt today, so I think I'm just gonna go with a pink because this is a little bit more cool in tone. I really, really hope that these are good. These are supposed to be, I think Rare Beauty dupes, right? Drugstore version Rare Beauty dupes. I have thoughts on the Rare Beauty blush, in that I don't think it's really all that it's cracked up to be, because I've tried it. I have it in my collection, but I have like tiny size, like the little sample sizes. But I don't really get it. I don't know if it's because I had such huge expectations of this as a blush and it just didn't live up to any of those. But other than that, I think it's just like a very basic cream blush. It doesn't do much extra that I thought it would, but you know, to each their own. I know that people love it and kudos to them, but for me it was just, to me, it was just like very basic. It was just like, oh, okay, this is what that was what that is. Right, so I'm starting off with that on my cheeks. I didn't tell with the doe foot. The doe foot, it's rounded, which shocked me. Right, it's a rounded doe foot. It's not like the others. If you can like see it, it is very rounded as opposed to your standard doe foot, which I'm surprised by. I wonder why they went with this option for the blush and obviously kept their standard doe foots for the other products. I think it's probably to do with the way in which they want the product to work on the face. But I am surprised, not in a bad way. I'm in a really good, I mean, I'm surprised in a good way because I think that it helps. Is this what I was looking for? This is what I was looking for, I think. I think it helps with the way in which you apply your blush. Fingers crossed that I don't mess up my entire look by applying blush. One thing I can say is this applies very similarly to the Rare Beauty blush in the sense that it, did you guys hear that? It applies very similarly to the Rare Beauty blush in that it's very non-pigmented. I don't know if it's because I'm darker, but I mean I am going with like a really bright color. And the more you blend it out is the less pigmented it becomes. It's more so, and not in a bad way for this one. I don't know if it's the color why I like it more. And again, it's not to hate on Rare Beauty. I like this because it gives you more of a flushed look than a blushed look. I don't know, some people like blush and not flush. If you understand the difference, you understand the difference. When you flush, it's more so like a natural rosiness coming out of your face versus you whacked product onto it. And I like that. So I like that in the sense for Rare Beauty, right? What I didn't understand was the hype surrounding it. Because in my head, I was like, I thought it was a revolutionary blush that just made everything so perfect. But I'm like, it's just gives you a nice flushed look. I thought it was this overly pigmented thing, and it's not really. You have to really layer it on if you really want pigment. And I think the same thing for this. Like, you have to, if you really want pigment from this, you're gonna have to layer it on. Like, you can't just dab the same way I did. I think if you're lighter in tone, you probably can and get a better result. But if you are darker in tone, you're going to have to layer on more product to achieve a blush look. So you know, that is the only downside I think I have for it. It blends really nicely. It eases into the rest of the makeup as I expected it to. And again, I'm gonna say products are supposed to work well with each other. So if it doesn't, there's a problem with the formulation of all of the products. So if you're applying a product from the same brand to another product, if you're buying one product that's one brand to another product of the same brand and it's not working well, there is a problem, because those brands tend to formulate to ensure that their products work well together. I did use this one and I love it. I can't say how much I love this. This is just like such a nice natural rosy look. The glow, I am starting to hate less the more products I add to it. It's kind of seamlessly coming together. So 10 out of, well, 6 out of 10 for me on the blush. I do love the doe foot. So, you know, a lot of science behind the doe foot as to how this is, you know, and you get a lot of product applied to the doe foot when you take it out, as opposed to this. So my biggest downside, well, I'll do a conciseness at the end to just bring my whole thoughts together. But afterwards, we're gonna do contour, and I did get the Halo Glow contour. This I've heard such mixed reviews on, because I know some people love it and I know some people hate it, and I find it very easy to hate products. I am one of those people who has no loyalty to products. I will hate them as quickly as I can. And my first hate is the sponge. I do think it's supposed to, I do think it's supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury contour. And I don't know if you can see this, but I was trying to stick this down because I thought there was a problem with the, I thought there was a problem with how it was applied, right? But it bounces back. I'm just gonna, I don't know if that's a part of the mechanism of the contour. Not sure how I feel about that. I do know this is supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury same effect, the glow, the flawless filter little ones that they have. Don't like those. And because of the sponge, I don't tend to like sponge tipped anything. And that is because it gets very dirty very easily, and you tend to not be able to control the amount of product that you get at a time. So you squeeze and you can't see how much product you're getting. So it's either you squeeze and you oversaturate your brush, or you don't get enough product. I have done it quite a bit, and I don't know, it's because okay, so the product has come out, right? And it seems like it's not a lot of product, but it is a lot of product because there's product in the sponge and you can't see the sponge. So you can't gauge how much you're putting on or how much you're getting. So no for me. It's automatically a no for me because of that. Because I can't tell you how much product you're giving me, and I need to know how much it is to know how to work with it, right? You need to know how much product you have to know how to work with it. So I've done 3 dots on my, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna add a couple of dots on my forehead. Right, so cheeks, forehead, and cover back up. As you can see to the side, there's also some product moving to the side. So I've done the top, but there's product on the side that I haven't used, and so it just seems like a lot of waste in that regard, because what if I just don't end up using it? What if, you know, what if I, obviously the cap's a little bit harder to lose on this because it is a twisted cap, but it is possible. And so I just don't like these types of products, and I will continue to say I don't like them, and it has nothing to do with the brands, it's just the products themselves. I'm trying to figure out which contour brush I use normally. I can't find it. It's not this one because that's brand new. I'm just gonna find it, I'm gonna blend it, and I'll let you know. So I was just gonna blend and then talk about it after, but I've just blended this side. If you can see, I have just blended that side, and I do have thoughts. I have a little bit of thoughts. First off, it is hard to blend, right? That is my first thought on the product. Is quite hard to blend this product into your skin, especially if you don't know what you're doing, and it doesn't make it easy with the applicator and everything, right? It just makes it a little bit harder because, again, you can't gauge how much you're actually putting on and all of that. So for me, I am not a fan of this product specifically. I don't know if it's made the lower part of my face darker. I might have to brighten up the concealer or something to give it a lighter look. So I'm just gonna probably add some concealer here and here to brighten it up. But unlike normal bronzer or normal contour, it's a very odd formula, I want to say. It's not a bad formula. And I think if it was in any other distribution formats, it'd probably work a little bit better. However, with the way it's distributed, it leaves the mark on your face much more prominently than you would with another product. And I don't know if you can see it, but my face has gotten significantly darker, and it is a little bit more visible in that regard, where it's like, oh yeah, you've pasted a line here, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna have to fix that. If I can get my brush, I'm gonna have to go over it with excess product that I have on the foundation brush and see if I can blend into that line that it's created, because there is no reason why your bronzer should be doing that or your contour should be doing that. And I understand it is a contour, so it is going to be darker in application than, you know, your natural average product, and fair enough, but there is no reason for it to do that. So automatically a no for me for this product. I do not recommend it. I don't like it. And I know that some people will be able to make it work, but you shouldn't have to force your product to work. And that is something that I advocate for quite a lot. Your makeup should not be something that you have to force to do what it's supposed to do. If it is that you have to have it do something or maneuver it in a certain way for it to work as intended, it might not be the best product for you. And I know that some brands, some products are really good, and so people will go to the end of the earth to advocate for it. Oh, just do this and, you know, you'll get it to work. But you shouldn't have to force a product to work. It's formulated to work. So if it doesn't, then there is another underlying issue. And I know I'm just like blending the concealer into it, but it's just to kind of get rid of that line that you can see. It's not seamlessly into my anything, actually. It hasn't seamlessly blended into anything. So I'm just gonna take my blush brush and just again go over that small area so that I can just, you know, and again take my foundation brush and just dab on the down part. It's much better now. You can see it now. It's a little bit less line and more shadow. But again, I say you shouldn't have to force products to work for you, and if you do, those aren't well formulated products, because if it is that your product was formulated well, then you wouldn't be having the issue of having it to force it to work for you, right? So I really wanted to showcase that, because what the hell? And I mean, it was going so well, right? It was, the foundation was nice, the concealer was nice, the blush was nice, everything was going really, really well. And then the contour showed up. And I mean, I did have thoughts on it beforehand, because I was like, well, the applicator itself is, you know, cause for concern, because your applicator does say a lot about the product and how it's gonna perform on the face. It does. And you can actually tell this over time. The more makeup you use, your applicator and the way a product is created in terms of the packaging and all of that, it does give way to a lot of how it's gonna work with you or work for you, right? So this, do not recommend at all. But I am gonna see. I don't know if maybe it's something that I need to research more on to work for me or anything like that. But for now, it is a no, and it is a do not recommend. And it sucks because I do, like I said, I do love elf, and so when products don't work from this brand, it is gonna be a little bit harder. But you know, we'll have to just continue. Next, I'm gonna try the brow gel. It is the Wow Brow, and it is in the shade Brunette. They just like broke the cap off, but it is in the shade Brunette, I think. Yes, the Wow Brow tinted gel. So I'm gonna take my brows. I'm gonna take it. Oh, it's one of those. So it is one of those brow gels that has the microfibers in it to give the effect of more brow hairs, which if you like that, I think you'll enjoy this product. I don't hate it, don't like it. I also don't like my eyebrows looking massive, so I'm just gonna see if I can fix that. I need to get my eyebrows done. Obviously, if you can't tell, they are not done. They are just existing in their own space. But you can see the difference with this eyebrow and the gel and the eyebrow, right? And I don't know, I don't personally have any thoughts on brow gels with microfiber in microfiber hairs in them. I just think it's a very personal preference. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because if you do, then it's good for you when you find these products. If you don't, then it's a little bit bad, because a lot of brow gels I think tend to have that in them, especially the tinted ones. You tend to find more of them being formulated with the microfiber hairs and less without. I think it does what it says. I don't know if it's supposed to be a stain, like one of those regular brow gels where it just stays in place. I do think it's probably just a colored gel where you just put it in. Yeah, I do think you just color it in. I don't tend to use a brow pencil. I'm just very lackadaisical with my brow application. I'm not really a brow person, and so for me it really does make a difference. Next, we're gonna go into my eyes, because obviously we've done my base and I am not adding any setting powder, so it's gonna go into my base. We're just gonna go into my eyes, right? I have the cream eyeshadow pot from this. It says it's crease and smudge resistant, and I am the perfect person to test this on, because eyeshadows crease in my eyes so easily. You know, I am one of those people who you will 100% find creasing in their eyeshadows no matter what I've done. I've yet to find a way to get my eyeshadows to not crease in the lines. It's a cream product, right? So if you've used cream liner, you have an idea as to how this product is gonna work. If you haven't used cream liner, it's essentially the type of product that will just apply both nicely with brush and or your fingers. And yes, I've done this on purpose. I do have something I'm gonna add to it afterwards. So you can see that it is quite nice to apply. One thing I do love about cream eyeshadows is they dry very quickly. So if you're a newbie with cream eyeshadows, I tend to advocate for a little at a time. So you start very small and you work your way up with how you apply it, because they do tend to dry very, very, very quickly. And so if you don't know what you're doing, it's your first time, you probably might be a little bit overwhelmed with just everything. And you might just freak out and hate it and never want to try it again. And I don't think that is a good idea, because cream eyeshadows are actually some of the best inventions that have come out of color cosmetics. They are so versatile because you can use them as single eyeshadows. You tend to find them in the pens. Pens are forms of cream eyeshadows, if you weren't aware. So you tend to find them in the pen forms more than in pot forms. In pots, you tend to find them as glitters or shimmers or toppers. But I do think Elf made a really good decision making it like this, because this is such a long, this will be such a long lasting product. One thing you have to be careful of though with cream eyeshadows is that you seal them very well, because not sealing them causes them to dry out, and once they are dry, you can't use them, sadly enough. Once they start to oxidize, they are gone, they're done. You can't really do much for them other than that. And to top it, I have this metallic shimmer from Elf. It is from their liquid metallic eyeshadow, and I do have others. And so originally I wasn't planning to add any, I was just planning to use a powder somewhere and just add one that I already have. But I saw the cream eyeshadow pot and I was like, I definitely want to try with the two together. One thing I can say very quickly on is this is a sticky eyeshadow pot. Like, this is a very sticky product because I can feel it on my eyes, very much so. And my eyes tend to fold in, as you can see. Like, yes, there's a lot of product on, but then it all just disappears because my eyes just fold in on each other. And so I don't know how I feel about that, in the sense of my eyes just feeling as though I put glue on them, right? So how I would do that is I just take it and just tap it in the center of my eye, and it creates a nice effect for the entire look. And the great thing with, just like with other cream eyeshadows, you can work this does dry very quickly and very easily. And so again, my advice to anyone using it is little and work your way up, because you don't know how much you want yet, and it can get out of hand very, very quickly, very easily. And you can also just apply it to your finger like that, and then just tap it in onto your eye. With that, you have a little bit less control because it is on your finger and it's just going wherever your finger touches. And so if you don't want it to work like that, I would recommend putting it a little bit on your eye first and then going in with your finger, versus putting it on your finger and just dabbing it on your eye. Right, I'm just gonna do this up, finish it up, and I'll be back. So that is me done with my eyes. I'm just gonna add some mascara. I do have a mascara. I've got this one. I think this is a TikTok favorite. It's the Lash Extender Length and Definition from Elf. It says dramatic length, 97% saw instant dramatic lash length. It does have my favorite type of wand, so I'm very excited for that. I'm just gonna pop it open and let's see what we get. I'm very happy so far. Sans the contour, which we'll never buy that again. Everything seems pretty good so far. The eyes, I didn't show you the eyes, so it is, I did do a dark base to just accentuate and put put highlight on the metallic part of my eye, and so that is what I was going for. Oh, it's brown. Oh shit. I don't really wear brown mascaras, so I didn't notice that they were brown. I actually thought they were black just because the entire thing was, so you should pay attention and read. But we're just gonna go in anyways, and let's see if brown lashes work with this look. My lashes aren't brown, by the way, naturally. They're black, so the rest of me. That sounded so wrong the way it came out. I meant like my hair is just black, but I'm hoping that this will sit well on that, because obviously mascaras coat your lashes and get them to accentuate, right? So that is one lash done, just to compare it to my natural lash, which is just there, and that one there. I do think with brown lashes, they do not pop as much on me as I guess on other skin tones, because for me, brown lashes just make my lashes look like I don't have anything on them, whilst black lashes kind of pull my lashes as big as extras because they're darker. So I do say that I would continue to only use black mascara on my eyelashes. Not to say that this is a bad color, because it isn't, and again, it gives a more natural, if you're not looking for something that's really dramatic, it does give you more natural lash, a more natural lash look versus a accentuated lash look. But for me, I prefer the accentuation because my natural lashes just look like this anyways, in terms of how they're perceived to people, especially if I don't have makeup on. If I have makeup on, I do want to put focus on my lashes, you know, my eyes. And so, do I like the mascara? I think it's very similar in a lot of ways to my Maybelline Sky High, in the way it separates my lashes and flares my lashes. A lot has to do with the wand. That wand does quite well in lengthening and adding definition. I'm not a volume kind of girl in my mascara, so I tend to only look for lengtheners and ones with this type. So I'm just like show you that. Do I like it? I do. Would I do it again? Would I use it again? I actually would. If I'm not wearing makeup and I want like a quick eyelash look just to showcase my eyes, I would use this, especially because it's in my collection already and it's brown. So it won't really show that I have lashes that I have mascara on, but it will kind of make them look a little bit, you know, a little more saucy. Finally, my lips, because we've done everything else. We've done a foundation, we've done a concealer, so let's talk about lips. I think I've showcased both of these. I don't know if I have both of these on the channel before. I bought them in red because obviously these are the elf lip items of the moment, you know, and I do have others. I've got the other version of I've got other colors of these, and I've got other colors of these, but currently I wanted to see would the red make that much of a difference, right? And so we're gonna do, I think we're just gonna try both, because why not? You know, what's stopping us? What is preventing me? Nothing. Right? Oh my gosh, I've run out of time actually. But we are just gonna try them both. This is such a beautiful jelly color. You can see that gel color. It's gorgeous. That is nasty sounding. But I'm gonna try with this first just to give it lies. I'm gonna try the pen first because I think the pen is more for color, while this is more of like just a topper, or would be more of a topper. So I think having the pen first would tell me the color payoff. I already know that I love the pens because I love the ones that I have already. I just never tried this color, and I don't know if the color transfer is applicable to all their color range. And so I've tried their purples and I've tried their nudes. I've never tried the reds. So we'll see now. You can see it here. It's not really that much of a strong color payoff. It's very gloss-like versus like a lip stick. Like, I guess it makes sense because it is a lip pen, so it is more of a gloss in a pen setting. But I don't know if this is what I was expecting. it's not sticky, which obviously I would love because I don't like sticky lip products. Would I wear this? I would actually. And so there is transfer. So red flag on that one. I haven't seen that with the others, so I don't know if it's just specific to this or if I had lipstick on before and that's what caused the transfer. But otherwise, I do think this is a really nice product and I would wear this just like this with the rest of my face. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna switch to the next one and we'll talk about my final thoughts. You'll notice that I didn't add any setting spray, and that was because I didn't get any, sadly enough. There was none in store, and I was very sad because I really wanted to try the milk makeup dupe version of the setting spray. I think it's like the Set All Night, the green one. I think it's like in conjunction with the Poker primer, so I was like, I really want to try to see if it works, but obviously I couldn't find any, so I couldn't buy any, and we're here. So let's start with foundation. Do I recommend this? I do. Would I recommend it? I would say, again, be very careful how you use this because it is a very glowy-esque product. Like, you will come out shiny. So if that's not what you want, I think I would probably look elsewhere. If you're okay with that, I would be okay with it. I have dry skin, so for me, I don't see any difference in how my skin looks now as opposed to what it would look like otherwise. It is giving a very lit from within glow, and like I said, I think that has to do with the fact I put stuff on top of it to kind of wear it down a little bit, and it's on my skin for essentially an hour now. So I think that that has a lot to do with how this product works and how it wears. So I would recommend this, and I would use it again. Concealer 10 out of 10. Definitely would recommend this, and I definitely would use this again. So this has to do with concealer itself. It's just my eyes, and because I didn't use a setting powder, but it's sitting all concealers crease under my eyes. So again, I say this isn't just the concealer, it's just all of them, but the way it performs and the coverage it gave, it's so good. However, I can say, and I don't know if it's because it's drugstore, I can say it's less, you can see it here, it's less covering. It doesn't last long, so I might have seen some points for that because it doesn't last as long as all my other concealers would have by this point, because it's only been an hour, and my concealers, my other ones actually at least, tend to last longer. So I'm kind of saddened about that. I'm just gonna grab some extra, and the fact that it's wiping away now that I'm trying to, you know, top it up, like fix it up. So I'm very saddened by that. How could you? I was championing you, and you just told me that you are not long lasting. So I'm gonna have to do this anyways because, again, like I said, I have to leave. No. And just so you can see the difference between like a freshly applied look versus an hour later, there is a difference, and you can tell the difference, especially if it's something that you want to be long lasting, because this is not, right? This isn't long lasting, and so you are going to have trouble if you're looking for a drugstore concealer that is going to be long lasting for you, because this isn't it, right? So I'm very saddened about that. Would I use this again? Knowing what I know now, probably not. At least not under my eyes. I'd probably use it for concealing other areas of my face, where there's no creasing. If you're gonna use it under your eyes where there is creasing, you will have to wear it with a setting photo. And I think as a hydrating concealer, you kind of, I guess, I don't know if it's very wise to use it with a setting powder, not in the sense where, you know, obviously you can't use hydrating concealer with setting, because that's not true. You can. It's more so in terms of, is that what you're going for? Is that the look you're going for? Because if it's not, then I wouldn't recommend this. And if you're okay with it, if it's just the knowledge that it's hydrating under your eyes, it's not drying it out, then I would be okay with that. But other than that, my recommendation to you is a no. Big fan. I think what saves this product is the fact that it blends so nicely. Because if it didn't blend nicely, then I wouldn't even say, you know, it's a decent product to use, because it doesn't last. So what are you championing here? But it does blend really well onto the skin, and I think that's its saving grace. Because if it didn't, then, you know, to the bin it would go. The blush, like I said, you can still see it. The blush sits very nicely on the skin, and the blush, obviously the blush hasn't been on my face for as long as the concealer has, but it does give you that nice glowed look, especially when compared to compared with the foundation. So I do think that usage wise, this is really, really nice. So I'd say foundation and blush, top tier. We all know I hate this, and I am tossing this in the bin as soon as I'm done. Tossing it in my box, actually. I'll add it to my box for the end of the month review. But other than that, I think this is the blush, great. Bronzer, contour, in the bin it goes. Next, we're going to talk about the brow, because we did the brows next, right? The brow gel, like I said, I'm not particularly mindful of brow products. I think if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so for me, this is just pretty basic. If you don't like microfibers in your brush, I would not recommend this, because you can see it and it will, you know, affect how you apply your product and how you enjoy your product. Next, we're going to talk about my eyeshadow pots. I haven't applied it long, so we can do a test to see, is there creasing? I can't see any. And like I said, pots tend to dry very easily, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it's not creasing. Unlike regular eyeshadows, your powder eyeshadows tend to sit on top of the liquid, because you tend to add your concealer or your foundation on top of your eyes, and if you don't set it, and even if you do set it, it does tend to crease eventually when your natural oils get to it. My natural oils haven't gotten to it yet, so I can't say whether or not it won't crease. So far it hasn't creased, and I'm okay with that. But other than that, and it did apply really nicely. I will be getting actually the other colors to this. I only got the one just to test it out, and I already have quite a few of these. I'm just gonna add this to my collection. I love the color. I didn't realize it was this purple. I thought it was more a brown than a purple, so I'm very happy that it is a purple metallic, and I think it went very well with the base that I got. So for me, that is all. Those two are 10 out of 10 products. Next, my mascara. I like I said, I like the idea. Oh my gosh, you can see one of the brow fibers just there. You can sticking on my eyes. You can see it. You can actually see my brow fiber just sticking on there. But anyways, the mascara is very similar to Sky High, and if they had it in black, I would love it, and I would be wearing it all the time with my makeup. I would not be wearing this with my makeup because it is brown, and like I said, brown doesn't really do much for my eyes. It just makes it seem like I'm not wearing mascara, which if that's your go-to look, this will work for you, because it just accentuates your natural lashes without really adding any poppingness. It just makes it look really natural, and just makes it look really natural and seamless. Lips. I was expecting more color payoff. I don't know why, but I was expecting more of a color aspect to this, because I think it was a kind of like advertised as a pen, and the others have quite a bit of color payoff to it. So I was expecting that. I'm quite disappointed, but I'm using it, yes, because I love the feel of it. It's very minty on my lips, and I like that, so I will be using it, and it is in red, so close to me. This is what I'm wearing now, and it is a jelly lip, so I'm not expecting color from this, and like I wasn't expecting, I'm not getting any, at least not any real color payoff from it, so I'm okay with that. And primer, let's head back to my primer, because that is important. My primer is the first thing I put on, and like I said, I put this on that side of my face and I put this on this side of my face. Can I see a difference with how products are sitting? Not really, not at all actually. I think products are sitting well lies. So what I can tell straight up from the application of my primers is there's no settling in this side of my face in terms of foundation, and there is slight settling in this side of my face in terms of foundation. So again, my pro grip wins all the time, and I tend to use it because I have so many slight little tiny creases in my face, and I know that settling happens quite often with me and my products. So I find products that, like, I find a primer that will not allow that to happen, and it doesn't allow it to happen on the side of my face, at least not yet. I don't know if it will, if the foundation will overpower the primer. Yeah, none of my others have yet. I don't know if this will be my Achilles heel, but so far there's no settling here. What there is here, and I can see it whilst I can't see it here, and I mean, this is slight, so I'm okay with it. The problem happens if it gets worse over the day, especially because obviously you're gonna be able to tell that two different primers, you know. But other than that, I'm actually really impressed with a lot of these. I don't know what I was expecting for some of them. Mostly because I had already heard some reviews, and so I went in with a bit of judgment, especially on the phone, especially on the base products that I used. I did hear quite a lot of judgment from a lot of people because they didn't like it. But for me, I think they work really well. Will I be using this again? 100% yes. Will I you'll probably see them in like really everyday videos, or if I'm posting on TikTok, you'll probably see that. You'll probably see me using them in there. But these are really good. Kudos to Elf. 100%. I am an Elf girly, so I will always 100% be repping them. But again, your concealer, do better. Why is it? See, you can see that it's already creasing. I hadn't noticed that when I first put it on, but I wasn't, you know, obviously because I'm checking. You can see that it's already settling into and disappearing into those lines. So I really don't think I'll ever be wearing this under my eyes again. It's not worth it. It's just more hassle than it's worth. So that is probably and I'll see if it makes it to my end of year wrap, because a lot of these products that I have in my collection probably won't be making it to the end of the year. But I will continue to use and test and do it all for you. This has been a really fun video for me. I don't know if I've run out of time. It's now 2 o'clock. But it's been really fun testing this out, and I'm really hoping you enjoy it. I am back from vacation, by the way, if you can't tell, obviously, in my regular environment, and so videos will be posted now more regularly. I said that the last time when I went on a bender, but that was a very different situation. But right now I am back home. I don't have any plans to go anywhere anytime soon, and I don't think anything is gonna come in my way of filming anytime soon. So in hopes for all of us that we will be back to regularly scheduled program. Words. As of now. But that's it, I think. I don't think there's anything else. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, post notifications, man. Turn them on so you get notified whenever I upload a video. I will see you all in the next one. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I love you guys. Bye.